Hey everybody, this time we're going to figure out how you do interregional trading. Interregional trading is when you look at the, well, let's just do this. When you look at the regional market and you look at an item, let's look at ice stuff, heavy water. This is only going to show you things that are in your actual region. It won't actually tell you anything beyond that region. And what is a region? A region is just a spot in space. Let me just show you. Right now we're in the Forge region. I believe if you come down here, this is Heimatar, and this is Every Shore. So if we're in Every Shore, we can't see what's happening in the Forge. And if we're in the Forge, we can't see what's happening in Metropolis. You can't see outside of your region on the market screen, which gives you a leg up as a interregional trader. To do that, you actually have to go ahead and use a couple tools. How it used to be done is you'd have another character be in another part of space, and you compare the prices between regions by switching between the two characters. You don't have to do that anymore. What you can do now is take advantage of a website that actually pulls data from EveMon. It pulls market data from other characters in space and posts it all into one website. So we're going to just use the browser in the game. Let me see what the actual website is, if it'll pull up. eve-central.com. Pretty good site. It's really good for just seeing general prices for minerals and stuff. This is JITA prices, Heck prices, Amar prices, Rents prices, Dodixie prices. Pretty good. You can also enter the name of anything. Let's look up Isogen, and it'll give you a list of anything that kind of matches, and then give you the sell orders and then buy orders of all the regions of all of E. So we can look at the prices from any region in space. The coolest thing about this site, though, if I can, man, there's a lot of orders. Coolest thing about this site is the trade tools. You can actually just do it this way if you want to figure out what's good to trade between regions. It'll give you a difference and your profit margin right there. So we'll go by, let's just go by systems. It's a lot easier. And we're in JITA. Where do we want to go? This can be helpful if you have to go somewhere anyway and you want to make a trade there. Or you can just, just decide out of the blue, like, hey, let's just go to Dixie. Why not, right? So let's search. It'll give you, if you have non-exact terms, it'll give you a bunch of choices, but I actually have the exact terms. So just do display routes. And I know that my ship can only carry about 13,000 cubic meters. And I only want 10 entries a page, show only routes with a profit of 500,000 ISK or greater, and show trade routes with data newer than 1 hour. So that's the best you can do. The only downside about this site is that information is not refreshed in real time. It's pulled from, if you're running EveMon, which is it's a third-party tool that allows you to track your skills and your industry stuff outside of the game. If you're running that and you're in a market and you click on something, say we go to browse, and we go to implants, booster, whatever, and you click this, it'll pull this information and upload it to eCentral by itself. So unless someone's actually clicking every item in the game at all times, it's not going to be in real time, and it's usually not in real time. So right now what it's telling me is that if I'm in JITA and I want to go to Dodixie, I can buy this for 44 million ISK and sell it, because there's sell orders here in JITA, and there's a buy order for 45 million ISK in Dodixie, and that's a profit of 8 million. It figures that because there's 7 items tradable, because there's 7 buy orders, or maybe only 7 sell orders. It depends on the item. The best thing you can do after you actually choose something is click on the item, open link in a new tab, and actually look at all the buy and sell orders for it. It makes it a lot easier. So this for sell orders, this is actually the cheapest you can buy it anywhere. So we get 15 of these. That's actually not that bad. We get 15 of them here for 44 million. That's a pretty big investment. That's like 440 million for 10 of them. So you might not want to be carrying that much, that valuable of cargo all in one trip, but we can sell it. Yeah, the best buy order is in Dodixie for 45,993. And then you also have to figure in your sales tax. Now, when you buy it from here using just a straight up buy, you don't pay broker's fees. You do pay transaction tax, I believe. And when you fill a buy order in another region, you only pay the sales tax. So for this character, it's 0.9%. So I need something to be above 0.9% profit margin. So it's 45 million divided by 44 million, which isn't very much, I can tell you off the bat. That's about a little lower than 4%, so I'd be making a 3% margin, and I would be spending a ton of freaking money to make that margin. It's a lot of money in the margin. That's actually a big gain in one trip. But the thing is, you don't want to be carrying around $440 million worth of cargo across space, because you have to transport it. And if you're transporting something and someone scans your ship and sees you're carrying very valuable stuff, they're going to blow you up. They're going to suicide gank you in high sec, and they'll have a friend come and pick up the pieces. When you get blown up and you're carrying cargo, I don't think everything in your cargo hold drops, but a majority of it will drop. So they'll just take your stuff, and you don't want to be caught in that trap. The best thing you can do is get a bunch of low value items and keep the actual value of what you're carrying beneath a certain threshold. If you're running a freighter and you can carry like 1,000,000 cubic meters, that threshold is like 800 million. For what I'm doing here, I try and keep it below 200 million. So I'm not going to be investing in this particular item, but let's find something that we can invest in. Oh, and another quick tip. When you first use the trade finder, you don't want to take the top few items anyway, because since it's not updated in real time, by the time you get to Dodixie, that order could be filled already. Someone could have already bought stuff from Jita or somewhere else in space and are already on the way to Dodixie right now to fill it, and they might get there before you. So you might get there and the buy order is filled and you'll lose money. So you don't want to do that. I tend to actually scroll through and find something not only cheaper with a smaller, might be a smaller margin, but I might be able to carry more. You know what I mean? And it's less likely someone else will have seen that. So I'm going to continue until I find something, and then we will pull the trigger. Alright, I seem to have found an item that's pretty good. The Amar Control Tower Small is selling in Jita for 57.9 million, and it's being bought in Dodixie for 60.4 million. And they're actually asking for, if you look here, there's 4 separate orders, each for around at least 60 million. So that's a good deal. Even if we're cut out of the deal on these first two, we'll still make a pretty good profit doing this trip just once. And the other thing you're going to want to keep an eye out for is this kind of thing, where if you're going to make that trip and you're going to buy something that's really expensive and try and sell it off, you want to make sure there's other buy orders for it that are pretty good. Our next bet would be go to Amar, which is actually paying less than what we're buying it for. So we want to get to Dodixie as fast as we can to actually take advantage of this deal. So we're going to do that. We're going to buy this item. It is, if you look at the actual information, its volume is 200 cubic meters, which means that I can fit a whole bunch of these in my hold, but I don't have that many buy orders, so I'm just going to buy one of these. Normally, what you would do is you'd find a bunch of different items all going to the same place. They're a pretty good profit, and bring all those at once and just fill up your cargo hold. For this demonstration, though, I am not going to do that just because I want to get this done. So I'm going to throw this in my cargo hold and head out to Dodixie. So you're not going to have to hang out and watch that, because that is the boring part of this. I have to make a whole bunch of jumps. Let us actually, let's search for that. I haven't been to Dodixie in a while. It is 15 jumps of boringness. There are 2 spots in this trek that will actually be dangerous for us, if I can just look in here. From Udama to here, and Udama to, I can't pronounce that. It's a June, just call it June. June to Udama, and then Udama to whatever this is, Silvala. I always find wrecks of freighters here. So it's a pretty dangerous place, but it's a pipeline, meaning to get through this area, you have to go from the forge down to where Dodixie is. You have to go through this pipe. You could have come through this way, but this actually goes through Losec, so that's an even worse decision because people can shoot you for no reason. At least in here, they'll have to high sec gank you, which is, you know, preferable. It's more secure here, but it's still pretty dangerous. If people are willing to do that, they're going to, and that's what you kind of have to accept when you go into interregional trading like this. Is it's a risk. It's always a risk. Every time you undock your ship full of cargo, you're basically saying, well, this is a loss until I get to my destination. And if you don't get to your destination, you lost that money. So it's better to mentally prepare yourself that you've already lost a bunch of money as soon as you buy the item. So let's head out, and I'll meet you there. We're now in the most dangerous part of our journey. We're heading into the pipe. It's not a low sec into null sec pipe. Those are the worst places to go. Those are the most volatile areas. When you're in high sec, you don't have to worry too much about it, except for pirates who are willing to suicide gank you. And that's not that common unless you're in a giant freighter. Although industrial ships like this are usually a target for pirates. They'll at least try and scan you down. If you see people who are criminal, in the overview, if you have a good overview set up, it'll show that they are criminal. And if they're just sitting on the gate, they're probably trying to scan down freighters. But the tear is pretty quick. I don't know if you can even lock it and scan it down fast enough. You'd be able to tell if you get yellow boxed, if the character, the pilot, has like a yellow box around their little symbol here. It means they're targeting you. And they only know they're scanning you unless they're using a passive targeter, in which case you would have no idea they're targeting you down. So smart guys will be able to get around even that. And even then, if you see you getting yellow boxed, you should probably dock up and log off for a while. Because if you just dock up and wait 15 minutes, they're gonna be waiting for you. It's really easy to tell where people are headed in EVE. All they have to do is just see where your nose is pointed when you warp off, and they will be able to figure it out, because if someone pointed that way and warped this way, you're either going to be at the customs office at this planet, at the planet itself, or in that asteroid belt. Doesn't really narrow it down, and they can just use D-scan and figure it out. So, just gotta be careful. Make sure you're not in any wars. Make sure you're on a character that hasn't pissed off a whole lot of people who want to kill you. But the moral of the story is don't use a character that everybody knows, and don't make YouTube videos with the character you're going to do transporting stuff with, because they're going to hunt you down and kill you. Which is why I'm kind of anxious to actually make this video, but that's okay. I'm not going to do a whole lot of this. It's a good way to make money, but it's not the way I want to make my money in EVE. I've been doing it for a little bit. It's not really, you know, you can make a whole lot of money in like a week, but it's really boring. There's a lot of flying. So that's just the trade-off. You could even just autopilot your routes. You just hit autopilot, but you know, if they see your industrial ship is a big target anyway when you're going through a dangerous area like a pipeline where pirates hang out. If they see that you're autopiloting, then they will have a lot of time to scan you down, and they will for sure destroy you. If not right at that gate where they scanned you, they know you're autopiloting, so they'll get you at the next one. It's not that hard to catch up with an industrial ship. They move really slowly in space. Their warp speed's actually really slow too, and they're not that tanky. Another thing you want to consider is to make money doing this, you need to have a lot of startup capital to actually make it happen. To make like $1 million, you have to invest at least like 50 million in an item. In a trip, you can make $1 million by diversifying across a bunch of different products, and that's probably the best way to do it, honestly. So when you actually make your trek, if that particular deal, if like the deal you wanted and you only decided to actually just buy one item and transport that like I did, if I get there and the buy order's gone, all the buy orders are gone, I'm screwed. I lost that money. I'm sit holding a product that I don't want, and as well as I can probably sell it, but I might actually lose money on it. I can actually look up on EVE Central and find the next highest buyer, but I saw that it was only like 58 million, which probably it won't pay for my time that I spent. So you're also risking your own time if you don't diversify the amount of products that you're actually shipping out. So it's better to have an even bigger ship, but the bigger industrial ship you are, once again, the bigger target you are. Okay, we made it to Do-Dixie. So this is what I like to do. I like to come in, I like to double check that in my wallet what I spent. I spent 57.9 million on this item. I brought it here, and now let's take a look at the item. We have a buy order for 60.5 million. Off the top of my head, I can't give you the math on that. It's like 2 million, 2.5 million, about 2.5 million with tax and stuff. Made about 2.5 million bucks. That's not that bad. Let's sell this puppy before it goes out of style. Gotta move to the hangar and sell. So we're getting 59,430. That means our sales tax is 0.9. Our broker's fee. Oh, that's why. See, this is the problem. If you have advanced on and you do it this way, you'll actually get charged your broker's fee, which is another 0.86%. If you go to simple, it'll rework it, and you'll only be charged to 0.9%, which is actually pretty good. We're just gonna sell this puppy. Bam. And that's that. Pretty simple. It's a great way to make money. The the risks are apparent, but the benefits are pretty good. You can make quite a bit of money doing this in Eve, and I'm going to be doing a little bit more, and then releasing this video and never trying it again. But anyway, I hope that was a pretty good overview of what interregional trading is. If you're more advanced, you'd actually plan a route to go from station to station to station to station that are closer to one another, so therefore each stop you'd be dropping something off and picking something else up and just making a route for the day or something. And just kind of doing this in the background while maybe you're doing other stuff, because while you're jumping you do have to be aware. You shouldn't autopilot ever, but in between jumps or whatever, you can be, you know, watching a movie, chilling on YouTube, doing whatever. And if you have a big route planned out, you don't even have to think about it after you actually get started. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.